The shareholder meeting for CCIV is set to happen tomorrow at 10 a.m. And if the shareholder meeting goes well and everything gets approved with the business combination, shortly then after, CCIV will convert over to LCID and the merger would be official. The business combination will be done and you will be holding shares in Lucid Motors. Hola mi gente and welcome back to the channel. This is Sean from We Are Investing, a channel that is dedicated in investing and personal finance. Now, if you've been following this channel, you know that I am bullish on Lucid Motors. This is a stock that I like. This is a stock that I recommended to the Patreon at $14 a share. And this position has been absolutely killing it. I posted that I bought at under $13 a share on January 11th, which is amazing considering that the pipe for CCIV is at $15. Now, if you don't know what the pipe is, it's a private investment in public equity. And what that is basically big money. Big players like Chamath, they got in at $15 a share. We were lucky enough to get in at $14 a share. Now, regarding the merger, the shareholder meeting to vote on the business combination and to approve the merger will occur on July 22nd at 10 a.m. Now, people need to vote. You should have gotten a proxy depending on what brokerage you're in. It might have come in a couple days ago or it might have came in like a month ago. It all depends. I know somebody that uses Schwab. They got it way before I did at TD Ameritrade. Now, if you haven't noticed over the last couple of weeks, over the last month, CCIV, Lucid Motors, Peter Rawlinson have really been pushing the fact that you need to go out and vote. They've been making their rounds on social media. And I think that's because a lot of Robinhood investors have not cast their ballot for this business combination. I've been told that Robinhood doesn't do a good job notifying its shareholders that there is a vote coming up and you need to fill out the proxy. If CCIV and Lucid Motors do not get enough votes, they do not have enough votes casted, then this merger will be delayed and that will be bad news for CCIV. If they get enough votes and those votes vote yes for the business combination, which I think is very likely, I think those that cast their ballot are voting in favor of the business combination. That's not the question. It's a matter of volume, how many votes they get in because they need to meet a certain quota. If the merger gets approved, the valuation for CCIV for Lucid Motors would be 1.6 billion shares times the share price. And at the current share price of around $23.50, that would put the market cap for Lucid Motors, the new ticker LCID, at $37.6 billion. Now, to put that into perspective, NIO is currently trading at a market cap of $77 billion, so that's about half of the market cap for NIO. Ford is trading at a market cap of $55 billion, so that's about 70% of the market cap for Ford, and it would pretty much be trading at the same market cap of XPeng, ticker symbol XPEV, at a market cap of $35 billion. Now, we know that Lucid Motors is not selling any vehicles today, but they do have big plans and they do have some good tech. But considering the market cap of XPeng, right now XPeng year to date has delivered around 24,000 vehicles. So they're on pace to come close to 50,000 vehicles for this fiscal year. So you have to ask your question, if Lucid Motors, a company that is pre-revenue, has not delivered any vehicles and is also not producing any vehicles right now, they have not started production, if it's worth the same market cap of XPeng, a Chinese EV company that is going to deliver around 50,000 vehicles this year. Now, if you haven't filled out your proxy or you haven't cast your ballot yet, or if you have and you notice this question is a little alarming to me, and I'm going to explain why more in this video towards the end when we dive into some other stuff regarding Lucid Motors. But the question was if CCIV, if Lucid Motor can change its authorized shares from 501 million to 15 billion shares. Now, I I will say that this is not an offering. This does not mean that they're going to dilute the stock right away to 15 billion shares. What this means is that they raised the cap of how many shares they could potentially offer in the future. There's not going to be a buyer of 15 billion shares right off the bat. That would be extreme dilution. But further down the road, later down in time, they could offer up to 15 billion shares. That is the max if this gets approved. And to put things in perspective, if Lucid Motors was to offer 15 billion shares at the current share price, which is very unlikely because given time, the share price should actually increase, that would result in a market cap of around $350 billion. So that would put Lucid Motors as the second most valued EV company in the world behind Tesla, and that would put them ahead of Toyota. Now, Lucid Motors provided an investor presentation in February, and then they also provided an updated investor presentation in July. So we're going to take a look at both of those investor presentations, and also this is stemming from some of the words that were said in their investor call that happened earlier this week. So we're going to compare the two to see how the business is going and if they are meeting their targets. So the first thing that I want to point out is that in the investor presentation in February, they had a total of 7,500 reservations. At the current investor presentation, which happened this month, that number rose to 10,000. So an increase of 2,500 reservations, pre-orders over the span of around 6 months. So that's about 400 vehicles per month, which isn't a lot if you ask me. The next thing that I want to talk about is that in the February investor presentation, they were saying that they were going to get some vehicles delivered in the second half of 2021. Well, that's looking less and less likely.
You sit on a throne of lies.
They are stated that they are trying to get into production in the second half of 2021, but that's not going to correspond to deliveries. And if you look at the projections that Lucid Motors has said in their investor presentation, they are projecting that they are going to deliver 20,000 vehicles in 2022. But that number is no longer intact, because if you take a look at the language in the most recent investor presentation, it states that they expect total vehicle volumes to be unchanged for 2023 and 2024, meaning that they expect volumes to be changed for 2021 and 2022. So the number that they had before is no longer going to hold, and that's going to impact revenues, and that's going to impact their free cash flow. And as we can see by this slide, with full production, we're estimated at 20,000 vehicles in 2022, they were still going to have a free cash flow of negative $2.8 billion, meaning that they're going to be in the hole a lot of money. Now, if we take a look at the money that they're going to be getting from this deal, it's at 4.6 billion US dollars. And they have stated that they're going to move up some of their capex, and they're going to spend some of that money now. So the money that they have left from this deal, considering the free cash flow burn, it's not going to last them very long. And that is something that I want to point out to you guys. This company is going to have to dilute their shares in order to raise capital to get the business off the ground. And this kind of ties back to that proxy vote of those 15 billion shares. The way I see it is that this company, without a doubt, is going to be offering a lot of shares in the near-term future. Now, the first step any company like this will take is to call their warrants. And the fact that right now CCIV is trading over $15 a share by a decent margin, they are in a position where they can call these warrants pretty quickly. And if you've been following the SPAC market, you know what happens to SPACs when they call the warrants. It usually drops in price because it's a form of dilution. Now, this is a process that takes some time. They got to register the warrants. They're going to have to file an S1. It's not going to happen overnight, but in my personal opinion, it's going to happen relatively quickly, because I see a position, I see a company that needs capital to grow. They're going to have negative cash burn, and they are only going to get so much money from this deal. And considering the amount of capital expenditures that they need to do and the amount of money that they're losing to get to where they need to be, this company is definitely going to have to dilute. And it's for that reason that I think that as an investor, you need to be very cautious with CCIV. I'm invested long because I think that this EV company has great potential, but my exposure matches the risk here. And actually leading into the merger, I sold half of my position in CCIV for the reasons that I stated in this video. So considering all those risk factors, I think the exposure needs to match the risk. And if you have a position that is too big and you think that this is going to be your one-way ticket to paradise,
I've got 2 tickets to paradise,
and you're going to get rich off of one stock, so you doubled up, you tripled up, and you way over leverage on CCIV, I say that you should be very, very careful with what you're doing, because the stock market, it can make you money, but it can also take your money and give it to other investors. So with all that being said, mi gente, I will continue to follow CCIV. I hope that I was able to provide you guys with some good due diligence on this stock moving forward. Like I said, long-term macroeconomics, if this company is able to succeed without diluting too much, then I do think that there is a ton of potential, because the technology that this company has, the focus on EV, is top-notch. It could be one of the best EV companies out there, but there are a lot of concerns that I have. And as you should, as an investor, you should be looking into the numbers. You should be following the company to see that it's performing as you want it to. But with all that being said, mi gente, that wraps it up for this video. Please join us on the Discord, a chat room of over 500 investors where we talk stocks and cryptos every single day. You can join us by joining the Patreon. A link is provided down below. I'll catch you on the flip side. It's been real, it's been fun, it's been real fun. And this is We Are Investing, and together we are invincible. Dale.